Hey everybody, Pete A. Turner, executive producer and host of the Break It Down show. I wanted to do today's introductions to you for a couple of ladies that I just cannot get enough of them. And I just love them to death and what their mission is and what their passion is. They've been on the show before. It's Kathy Selders and Marchelle Sellers. They run Charity on Top, and they've got a career, both of them, in the nonprofit space. They do consulting for nonprofits. They understand the mission, the game, and they were trying to find ways to bring more money into charity more passively. So they invented charitable giving as gifts to others. So let me give you an example. Let's say I want to give you charity. So I'll send you a Charity on Top gift card via email or an actual card itself, and I'll give it to, say, Phil Green, and I'll say, hey, Phil, which I do in this episode, by the way. Hey, Phil, here's $25. Give it to any charity you want. And then you go on to the Charity on Top site. Bam, the charity gets the money. Here's the thing that's amazing. The way the giving is set up, that when the charity gets that money unannounced, it's actually more valuable than if you gave it to the charity themselves directly. Yep, that's right. Most givers who give the gift of charity to the person, they absorb the administration costs. 3%, I think it is, or a little less, right around there. It's basically as small as it could possibly be, and the ladies are proud of that. Charity on Top. This is really awesome, and I want you to consider that. But also consider other ways you can give. Time, money, effort, location, doing errands for a charity. Incredibly valuable. Writing letters, whatever it is. There's a lot of ways to help out. As we all look for ways to improve things, charity is a big, big part of what an adult should do for somebody. So here comes Kathy and Marchelle. I know you guys are going to love them.
Lions Rock Productions.
This is Jay
This
Moore.
is Greg Proops.
This is Jordan Harbinger.
This is Dexter from The Offspring.
This is Nathan
This is
East.
Sebastian Younger.
This is Rick Marotta.
This is Stuart Copeland.
This is Mick Gillette.
This is Andy Summers.
Hey, this is Skunk Baxter.
This is Gabby Reese.
This is Rob Bell.
Hey, this is John Leon Guerrero.
Hey, and this is Pete A. Turner.
Hi, this is Kathy Selders with Charity on Top. And Marchelle Sellers with Charity on Top. And you're listening to the Break It Down show.
Yes, we're in Marchelle's backyard, and it's lovely back here. Actually, inside the house, it is cooler than it is outside.
It's beautiful out today. So we're going to have all the randomness of the outside. But you know what? I can't help it. We're soaking up the sun after all these days of rain. It's nice.
Yeah, I saw you on TV the other day for the Great American Sleep Out. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
World's Big Sleep Out.
The world's biggest sleep out. Okay.
So it's a global event that happened in December 7th. And it was started by Josh Littlejohn out of Scotland. And he's with Social Bite, started Social Bite. And he had this idea to have a big sleep out in Scotland in solidarity for people who are experiencing homelessness and displacement, which is happening globally, obviously. And he ran a couple very successful sleep outs. They raised money and raised awareness for the cause. And he and his team decided to take it global. So this year there were 52 cities that participated. Wow. Yes, all over the world. Charity on Top hosted the LA flagship event at the Rose Bowl. So it was iconic and pretty fabulous. And we raised money and awareness for the cause. And so we had people, so we changed it up a little bit because we're LA. We got to do it a little bit differently. And so we had a big concert, and then the sleep out portion were sort of separate. So you didn't have to sleep out to come and participate, although quite a few people did, and we certainly did. Marchelle and I,
with smiles on our faces.
Snuggled down. We did. It wasn't the most pleasant night I've ever spent.
That's sort of the point, right?
It's
kind of like Ramadan, where you're like, I'm going to go through this because someone else is hungry.
Exactly. And while I was lying there on the cement, warm enough because I had a decent sleeping bag and safe enough, feeling safe enough, I really reflected a lot on how a lot of people, that is not their night. They are not warm enough. Yeah. They are not safe. They're happy to have a place to have their sleeping bag if they have a sleeping bag, and they're not complaining that it's on concrete because that's what they're used to.
Right. Yeah.
And snuggled in the corner of a building somewhere, outside, like we were doing. So really woke up, the little bit of sleep I got, woke up just feeling achy and grateful.
Nice. I love the guy flying overhead.
I know, it's great. It just makes you feel like it's outside, it's a sunny day.
Yeah.
He's out enjoying it too.
So I should probably catch up folks who don't know. You ladies have been on several times now, and because we all have this powerful personal charitable charter, you guys started your own charity company, and basically the concept is I want to give a gift, and instead of buying another candle or a toaster or something, I don't know what to get you, you just buy a gift card that's got charity in it, and that person then takes that gift card and gives that charitable donation to whoever they want. Maybe they're into livers, maybe they're into horses, maybe they're into, whatever it is.
Lemurs.
Right? Yeah, maybe
lemurs.
they're, exactly.
Right.
Lemurs,
Yes.
penguins, all of these different,
it's awesome.
and you ladies have the map of this. It's always awesome. You're like, there is a person who cares about people that have no middle finger on their left hand. There's a charity
There's
for
a
that.
charity for that. There is. And I think that's the coolest thing. And really, if you even take it further back than just the charity gift cards, I think what Charity on Top is and why we started it was because raising money for one charity is extraordinarily difficult.
Yeah.
And everyone has their favorite charities. And we're seeing a huge shift in charity movement anyway, just with donors coming in and saying, you know what, all of these charities are great, but the charity that is the most important to me is the one that I care about the most.
Right.
And I think that's our underpinning is basically, Charity on Top represents 1.8 million charities. And so people can give to whomever they want to through our platform or using our gift cards. And so what we really offer in this kind of day and age is that flexibility and that choice, and for people to express themselves and say, I want to give to what I want to give to.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is that we process hundreds of payments a month. And I think we're probably at like 85 or 87% of the payments that are going out are not going to the large charities that we've all heard of.
Wow, okay.
No, it's high.
Yeah.
And so people are saying, I want to support something that's close to me, that might be in my own backyard, maybe that I volunteer with on the weekends, that I really care about. And we're my $10 or my $20 is going to go to buying a bag of dog food at a local shelter.
Right.
So that's really what we're seeing is this sort of pattern and shift. And so our gift cards allow us to do that. People can go on directly and make donations. They can do that. And that's really, really what we stand for is, having helping people to make those choices, helping companies to make those choices, and giving their employees or retail partners, their customers, the opportunity to say, I want to give to charity, but I don't want to give to charity that you're choosing from me.
Yeah.
That's your charity. That's what you care about.
Right.
I want to give to the charity that I want to give to. And so we're allowing our partners to be able to have that flexibility without having to do the administrative back end, because that's what we're really good at.
So, and then we have to always account for audience folks and people all over the world at this point, over 80 countries, listen actively to the Break It Down show now.
Nice.
Oh, that's
it's
terrific.
incredible.
Wow.
So,
terrific.
like anybody
Hi,
can
everybody.
donate. Yeah, it's fantastic. So, I want to make sure we say this because when people hear charity, for whatever reason, there is a big portion of the emotion is like, okay, who's getting rich, right?
Yeah.
So let's make sure.
I don't know. Who is?
Please introduce us to those
let
people
us know,
because
yeah.
we have no,
Yeah, well,
we don't know
because
those
you guys
people yet.
purposely take the tiniest possible
Yes.
piece, and it's strictly like because you get charged to process this thing.
That's
isn't
right.
it?
Yeah.
So you're not taking, like, you guys are not getting rich on this. You guys are barely making any profit at all.
Well, let's just start with the fact that we're volunteering.
right.
Yes.
So we're going on our 4th holiday season. We just completed our 4th holiday season.
Right.
And we're both volunteers for the organization, and we have been since day one. We co-founded it.
So you guys
We
get
were
to get paid $1
volunteering.
million a year.
in lots and lots
love.
of hugs
in
and love
and
and
karma
and
and
feedback and
Yes.
Yeah.
whatever.
Enjoy.
But no, and for specifically on our gift cards, we charge $1.95 because we're printing the card,
Right.
we're mailing the card, and we are activating the card and working to make sure that
And
there's
each
a
one of those
redemption
things has
process.
a cost to you.
Yeah.
as a
Oh, it's a hard
Those are
cost
hard
for
Just
sure.
like anybody else who processes, if you go to the gas station, you don't say, "Oh, you've charged me $2 to process this payment." It costs that
Right.
much.
It
No,
does, and
it
you have
does
to think
cost
about
that.
the functionality that goes in it, and the ink that's used, and the design. We do all the design. Most of the design we do for free. So there's that little minimal part, and then out of the donation that's given when people load up their card, 96.25% goes to the charity, and 3.75% stays with charity on top to cover all of the other costs, because we still have to pay the charities. We have to make sure that their checks are out. We provide a lot of customer support.
All that back end
all of
administration.
that back end of all this stuff,
Exactly.
and that just stays with us. But again, really awesome. I think we're up to almost 90% of people that buy gift cards have the opportunity to cover that 3.75%, and almost 90% of the people do.
I do.
Yeah,
I
every
know
time.
you
You
do.
always do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And on a $100 card, it's $3.75.
Yeah.
So it's pennies on the dollar when you're talking about that. And if you go on any of these other big fundraising sites, they could be anywhere from 6 to 20%. So we're
Yeah.
actually really proud of that. We keep it lean, and we come from nonprofit. We've been in fundraising and nonprofits for 20 years. So we know how hard it is for the charities to be raising money.
Yeah.
We don't want to take money out of their pockets. We want to give money to them, and we'll do everything we can. So we would rather trim ourselves back.
And isn't it also true that, at least in certain circumstances, by giving through charity on top, this is not a promo for you guys, I think this is a statement of fact, that the charity would actually get more money dollar for dollar, because it's cheaper to have you guys process it than for the, is that right?
It
You're nodding your head,
is.
yes.
It is just the processing,
Which is
often.
crazy,
It is,
by the way.
It is,
Yeah, I know, but
it
it
is
makes
kind of
sense.
crazy.
Yeah.
It definitely is economical for the charity versus them raising the money themselves. And of course,
Right.
they're doing that. They're raising
Yeah,
the money.
yeah.
But for them to raise money and for them to reach out to people to get them to give, there's a lot of staff activity that has to go on. There's a lot of expenses, and they're not doing any of that with the money that they get via charity on top. It's passive on their part,
Yeah.
and it's free from their perspective. And so they love it when they get a check from charity on top, because it's like Marchelle always says, found money. It's like new money. It's
Shows up.
not that they had
Budgeted for, they didn't plan
and they don't
for
have
it.
the expenses against it, and so it's extra. So then they get to do, either that just makes their budgeting easier, or they get to do some things that they hadn't planned to do,
Or they get
some
to
of those-
bring balloons to the gala.
Yeah,
or
that
whatever.
they didn't have planned,
Yeah.
or they
Yeah.
get to do something special for their clients for holiday that
Yeah.
they, maybe none of the sponsors were able to cover. They get to do stuff that we call off budget, where it's something special for the clients or something that they've needed for their
Yeah.
program that they haven't had the opportunity to buy because they haven't been able to put the money
To
in.
put the line in the budget.
They're incredibly grateful, and Kathy gets to talk to the charities all the time,
Yeah.
and people are calling, going like, "Who are you, and
Who
where
are
did this
you?
money come from?
yeah, and it's
When
fun.
are you sending more?"
right. It's fun because that's changing, because now we have been around for a while and we're sending checks to a lot of the same charities. And so it used to be, who are you? And should I really cash this check? And how did this happen? And then now it's a little more of, this is spectacular. We shouldn't count on it, right? You know,
Right,
that kind of thing. And because we have no control over who chooses them. And then also, are there any restrictions, which unless the donor put a restriction on it, there's no restrictions.
Yeah.
So it's fun to have those conversations with the charities.
And again, because the Charity on Top offers the ability for the lender to pay the administration cost,
Yeah.
that wouldn't necessarily be true at Charity X or Charity F or whoever it is, because they just have to pay that out of their own thing. So
Right.
I'm glad to pay the $4 or whatever it's going to be,
Right.
even if it's more for like a big charity because they got more folks to pay for. I'm glad to cover that as the giver. But if I
Right.
don't have the option, I don't even think about it.
Well, and
Right.
this is such a huge conversation right now because of charitable overhead, where being a fundraiser and being in charity for 20 years, I see both sides of it, because everybody says, well, I don't want my donation to this charity to go to overhead. But the problem is that in any job, no matter whether it's charity or anything, it's the humans, at least all right now, that are doing the work. Hey, if AI can start figuring out how to fundraise, I am
Yeah.
all about that.
Yeah,
Let's just
Right.
automate the crap out of that. I'm totally in favor. But right now it's humans, and humans are providing human services, and they need to get paid to do the work just like anywhere else. So being able to cover that percentage and understand that it's a small percentage, but it does help, and every little bit helps. It's just more. And also that is part of the contribution then. That's part of their tax deduction when they cover it. And, I think 95%
Yeah.
of the companies that do big corporate orders, and that makes up
Almost
about
all.
65-70%. Almost all of them will also cover that fee, so that the charities can get the all the amount, and they like that, and they feel good about it, and it is an additional tax incentive for them. So it's an understanding that there is work that goes into raising money. Generally, they're not doing the work for Charity on Top. We do the work for them. We just don't pass along those costs. But
The other thing, and you said it now, we have to account for these things so we can have the rest of the conversation. But you've got an MBA from Pepperdine,
I've got the MBA and she went to Pepperdine.
Pepperdine MBA. USC
Her master's
Pepperdine.
is Pepperdine.
Okay.
My undergrad was
high-end
USC.
degrees is what I'm getting at, right? And you have 20 plus years each in the industry.
Yeah.
Like we lose sight of the fact that you have to have good people to make this thing work, And look at the two of you, how much free time you guys put into it. I mean, look, right now, you're doing something, you've got better things to do than talk to me, You could be producing something or on a phone call or whatever. So to bring in quality people, it does take a resource. Their charity, okay, great. But also, like, someone has to pay the bills. Someone has to do AR. Maybe you get someone to volunteer in their free, maybe.
Right.
But sometimes you got to hire that person.
yeah.
That's right.
And
right.
so we're often hard on, and look, and justifiably so, because some charities are a little bit expensive compared to what they could be, but we all need to ease up a little bit, and then I'm going to get on my soapbox here for a second. As an adult, though, all of us should have some kind of significant charitable charter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whether you're giving your time, your attention, I say this all the time, your capacity,
Yes.
send that charitable thing out, let people know, offer your services. I will stand there and hand out water, whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And by the way, ladies, it ain't supposed to be fun and easy all the time.
Right.
Sometimes you got to do stuff you're like, I really don't want to get up on this cold, rainy night and go sleep outside.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And organize all this stuff
Yeah.
ahead of time. So then I'm going to get off my soapbox a little bit, but everybody needs to do, if you've got something, now it's now time to start turning around and helping in some way, and it can be insignificant. It can be a tiny bit of your time or money.
Exactly. My mom always said that if everyone did something to give, if everybody, like, whatever your heart is, my mom was very moved by literacy, and so she helped teach kids to read and made books accessible to kids. That was her thing, and when I would talk about, but the dolphins and but the something else and the environment and all these important things, she said, yes, I care about a lot of things, and but I'm going to choose at least one thing that I'm going to give my time and my resources to, and if everybody does that, we're good.
Yeah.
We're super, super good.
Yeah.
And I realized when I got older, not everybody does that. And so we all have to do a little bit more to cover for the people who aren't doing that, but that's okay. But you're right. If everybody will just, something that tugs at their heart, whatever it is, it's all good. There's lots of need out there. There's plenty to do.
Yeah.
And so if, whatever makes you happy to contribute to, and you contribute in the way that you can, that's what you're right. As adults, that's what we need to be doing. And I'll argue as even kids and teenagers need to be doing that as well.
Yeah.
And often that's where our passions come from, when we're young and we get excited about something, and that's when we dig into things and start learning about things and get involved. So I really encourage people to do that and encourage their kids to do that. If your kid says, Mom, I just, heard a report in one of my classes, and they said that not everybody has access to water. I don't get it. Like, you just turn on the faucet, but they're saying that doesn't happen everywhere.
Right.
Encourage that. Like, you know what? You're right. Let's have a conversation about that. What can we do about that?
Yeah.
There are organizations that are bringing clean water. There are organizations that are finding ways to bring clean water to, remote areas and stuff like that. Let's find out about them. Let's contribute to them.
Yeah.
How can we volunteer? What can we do? Maybe that could be your birthday project, is that instead of getting gifts that you probably don't need and more junk, what if you ask for Charity on Top gift cards and you use that money to go towards clean water for someone else.
Yeah, it's like in lieu of flowers.
Yeah.
Right? Now add the
Oh,
words
yeah.
charity on top gift cards and let the family decide. You know?
Exactly.
That's right.
And they really could, like, there's 25 people who are grieving. Like, here, everybody gets this much.
Yeah.
Put it in, and you really can
Yeah.
diversify that gift to the 87% of small charities.
Yes,
That's
it's
crazy.
astounding, but it really hits the point home that we're all looking for personal connection. And to Kathy's point, literacy may have been her mom's passion. And we all certainly want people to be literate, but it might not be mine, and it might not be Kathy's, and it might not be yours, Pete. But so finding a genuine connection and just starting and doing a little bit. I'm telling you, from the charitable perspective, if you're at a charity and you've got volunteers coming in and they're genuine about the cause and they're eager and they're enthusiastic and they'll kind of, jump in and pitch in, even if it's for an hour or so a week or a couple of hours a month, you start building relationships with those people. And it's also a really, really neat way of meeting a lot of people. I think we're missing that human connection.
Oh boy, it's such a powerful networking tool.
It's
It really is.
huge, and
Yeah.
and we're missing that personal connection, and it's really cool. It's like going to camp with all the people that care about the same thing that you do, and being able to be around all of those people that are, I don't know, use the word like-minded and networking, and it all sounds very. It's not surfacey at all. It's actually very ingrained, and everyone's around the cause. And boy, it sure just brings out so much in people. And I think it's really it's really cool. It's January. It's the time to do it. It's the perfect time to do it. And there's that little big secret that's out there that people have found, and I hear this all the time, that they get far more from volunteering. They get far more personally than they feel like they've put into it. So if you're like, I'm feeling tired, I'm depressed, I don't, get out very, socially, I don't have a lot of energy, I don't have all of those things. If you find the right place to volunteer, I can almost guarantee you'll get all of those things
It'll
back.
feed you.
It will
Yeah.
feed you. It will feed your soul and nourish you.
I absolutely, I've discovered this, that veteran suicide in a lot of ways could be helped if we just got busy being useful to someone else.
Yes.
It gives you a purpose that's worth staying alive for.
Everybody
right.
needs purpose, Pete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody needs purpose. Kathy and I, and, we're very fortunate that at our ages, we know why we're put on this planet. We know what we're supposed to be doing, but there's so many people that really don't. And I think once you start getting out and you help other people, even if you need all the help yourself and you turn around and help other people, it's remarkable what can happen in your life.
It is totally true. And
It can be
again,
useful.
the people that you meet that are already doing this, that are like, they have the bigger charity muscles than you do in the charity you go to, they are incredible people. And they're like, come do these incredible things with me. So you do get enriched, you do get fed. And it's a simple thing like this Saturday afternoon. Instead of doing nothing, I'm going to go do something. And so, and I wanted to make sure we cover those bases, because it's really easy to say, I'm too busy. No, you're not.
Yeah.
Right.
There's someone on the street right now who needs a little bit of help. And if you keep driving by that person, then, that's not feeding your soul.
No, it's definitely not. And we'll do a plug for Volunteer Match. They're a great organization nationally that matches up individuals that want to volunteer. And even in just doing regular Google searches of volunteer opportunities near me, because don't try one thing and it wasn't a good fit. You didn't feel like people, you didn't really click with anybody. Try a few things, get out there, and also volunteer, like Kathy was saying, with your families. Oh my gosh, what a great opportunity it is to get my 14-year-old out, when we're feeding the homeless here closer to our house. Our family went and did that, and we had some really great conversations going, during, and coming. And I think that we need to find those things,
While we've been talking, it looks like I haven't been paying attention, but I bet you guys know what I'm doing right now. I'm buying a charity gift card right now.
You are?
Oh, thank
And
you.
it's going to go to Phil Green, who,
Yes.
yeah, he's a friend of mine. He's got ALS,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
nobody is out giving than him. Like,
No.
he's on 3 different boards, I think, now, of significant
he?
ALS, organizations
Yeah.
and just giving.
He's a giver and a doer.
He did. We had a
Yeah.
great conversation
We
with him, and
love
so glad to be
Phil.
introduced to him.
And
And,
it's-
what a fight.
The thing about that disease too, and that charity system is that, when you guys first started talking to Phil, he moved around normally still. I don't believe he can walk
Oh.
far, if at all, by the time the
Wow.
show
It
comes
Wasn't
out.
even all that long ago.
Right.
No.
Right. And so this is how fast it goes.
It moves
And so like for the
fast.
patient advocacy and just, the ability to do it, like now is his time.
Yeah.
God, we just got to give this guy some money so he can go out and that's the thing. Like these guys have a lot of resources, but the problem is so unique for each patient.
Yeah, it's
hard
very
it's hard to sort out.
specialized. It's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
customized
Right.
in that
Yeah.
in that case.
Medical, there's no time. That I think time is charity's biggest enemy. When you think about that, especially for people that are fighting diseases, but time is creeping up on homeless issues, and time is creeping up on lots of things that are out there, and that's where we're battling against lack of resource and lack of time.
Yeah. This is Pete's opinion, so I may be wrong on this, but it's ladies like you, who have the same passion for a specific problem that really are the best pathway to help or to ending the problem or whatever. We can't rely on the government to do it because, look, they can't do something and charge nothing you're not even allowed as a government employee to do a free graphic for the U.S. government. It's against the
Right.
law.
That's right.
Right? And so it has to be these small elements that go out and just care so much that they'll be damned if they're going to let this problem lick them,
Yeah.
Right.
So let's
Right.
talk about what's next for you guys. What's going on? Because we spent a lot of time doing that. But let's talk about crypto and all these exciting things you have going on.
Yeah, so we've been talking with you about crypto for
Yes.
a long time, for many, many years, and we love that you're a fan of crypto, and
Yeah.
and I'm newer to the game, and Marchelle's been in it for quite a while, but we're really excited that we are able to offer crypto donations. So as a crypto user,
Yeah.
you can use your Bitcoin and
about 5 or 6 other different currencies.
Okay.
right.
Ethereum, that kind of thing.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly,
exactly.
exactly. And make a donation to the charity of your choice through Charity on Top. Now, the cool thing is, most charities out there don't have the mechanism for it yet.
Yeah.
Or the
Right.
understanding at this point,
Yeah,
right? It
that's
takes time.
true.
I mean, we've had to really.
It's true.
We've spent a lot of time.
It's still new
Yeah.
to a lot of people, and even if they can wrap their head around and like, oh, this is a great. Of course, we would take crypto. It's a currency. We would accept it as a donation. Yeah, you want to give us a donation? We'll take it.
We'll take a piece of land.
Yeah.
We'll take a car.
Literally,
Yeah.
literally, yes,
Literally,
yes,
yes.
absolutely. Stock shares, like you name it.
Yeah.
Give us a blade of grass if that's going to help us. We'll take it, right? But they may not have the system
Yeah, right.
to process it because it isn't processed through banks and credit cards and all that stuff the same way that U.S. currency is, right?
Right.
So even if they're up for it, they may not be able to,
Wow.
like their hands are tied, right? And so, and it'll be a while before most charities are able to do that. Some of the big charities, not even a lot, some of the bigger charities, and then some that maybe are more tech focused or
Yeah.
kind of are just ahead of the game there, are accepting it now and have figured out ways to do that. But it's going to be a really long time before kind of just the standard local charity.
Yeah. Well, I can't imagine what that costs to
it-
set that capacity up for
it ain't easy.
a teeny tiny. Yeah, right.
No.
No, it's not. It should be. We're just not.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, let's
And
get a scale.
I do think that the knowledge is what stands in the lack of knowledge, and it's just really because we're so hard pressed for time. Charities are so hard pressed for time that you don't have time to sort of explore all of these new things. But it does open up an entire new donor base, and people that invest and take in crypto are spending their crypto, and
Yeah.
they like to spend their
Sure.
crypto, and that's the currency that they prefer. And so we're seeing donations accelerate and go up and up and up. There was a site, I think it was sometime early last year, that had individual school teachers that could get on, and the school teachers put in all of the school supplies that they would need and project supplies. So it was kind of like a GoFundMe, but for teachers. And they had a crypto donor come in, and they spent $18 million, and they funded every single teacher's project on the entire platform.
Wow.
All with crypto. They had to figure out how to facilitate all of those donations, but this exists. And there's also more tax advantages right now for crypto users, and also they're able to avoid capital gains with using these types of donations as well. So,
or even better, like than avoid, like you could say, they're just using the money in a way that instead of paying the government, you're paying charity. I mean,
that's right.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And this is all very transparent. The donor has the same opportunity to share their information with the charity, just like you do on our platform. It's always, you can do it anonymously if you want to, if you don't want to be on people's mailing lists, or you can share your information. But we're able to accept crypto on behalf of 1.8 million charities, which means we don't have it set up yet for that gift card that you just bought. You can't use your crypto yet to buy a gift card. That's coming. But you could make a direct donation to a charity using your crypto. And it's the way that we sort of say it is, it's similar to if you wanted to give a gift of stock, right? You would give it to the charity. And the charity's best practice when they're given any kind of stock or land or anything else is to liquidate that ASAP. Most people would think you'd keep that in your portfolio. Most charities do not. It's actually not the best practice. So the best practice is to liquidate that. And so we would take this gift of crypto, which in essence, think about it as sort of like a little stock certificate, valued at this much at this time and date right now. And it's sort of time stamped. And within 10 seconds, we liquidate that to cash for the nonprofit.
Why are you waiting so long?
I know, right?
So slow.
You know, we argued over 9 seconds, but they made us have that extra just to make sure everything, you know, the T's were crossed and the I's were dotted. But we can convert it immediately because it is a commodity that's traded and it fluctuates. You know, by the minute. And so that's part of what people think is, yes, but if I give it to you in the morning and I don't liquidate it, you know, so we liquidate it immediately. And it's great because it allows all of these nonprofits to be able to accept crypto without having to get into crypto.
Right. Yeah, that's the key point.
It's a huge point.
Yeah, because I could send it to your address, your crypto address. And I'm not trying to get all crypto-y here, but you don't have to even do that. There is a pathway, you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have a widget on our website. So if you wanted to give to XYZ charity, you could come to Charity on Top.
Hey, this is P.A. Turner from Lions Rock Productions. We create podcasts around here. And if you, your brand, or your company want to figure out how to do a podcast, just talk to me. I'll give you the advice on the right gear, the best plan, and show you how to take a podcast that makes sense for you, that's sustainable, that's scalable, and fun. Hit me up at pete@breakitdownshow.com. Let me help. I want to hear about it.
You could come to Charity on Top. You could make your choice to donate. Of course, you can still donate using the traditional method of using your credit or debit card or buying a gift card, or you can donate to a charity using crypto. And you decide, you choose which cryptocurrency that you want to donate in. And the donation is made, and we transfer that to cash, and we alert the charity, and we make the transfer.
And so they don't have to have the capacity to process the crypto into something because it's already been done. Again,
we do that
the back
for
end
them.
from you guys. Yeah,
right? We do.
That's great.
So it makes it accessible to all the charities in the United States. So
Right.
this is really big.
It's a huge
This
thing.
is really exciting.
And in my head, a lot of folks that deal in crypto are younger folks because they're used to it. And they have a very powerful, whatever we did to screw our kids up, we seem to have given them this charity thing where they're like, this is important to me. I've got this money. It's blown up from, 100x, and I need to give some back. So, we need these folks to have a path where, you don't even got to figure it out.
Right.
Just breathe and push and done.
Right.
And then 10 seconds later.
Right.
9 on your best day.
That's right.
It'll be cash on the way to whatever. It's a good point. And also, I want to bring in another aspect because there is a lot of money sitting in your house that could be, or things that are valuable that could go to charity. And I know during some of the recent fires, and gosh, there's so many fires. I don't even remember which fire it was, but you partnered with someone who converts gift cards, regular, and gets them over to you, and then you guys can get them off to charity. Is that a regular program, or is that?
Yeah, we have that ongoingly. Yeah,
Okay.
we partner with Card Cash. And so if someone wants to donate retail gift cards, so traditional gift cards for fast food restaurants or the Gap or Amazon or whatever, Walmart, whatever, we can accept that and cash those in essence, and then make the donation to a charity. Yeah. So if you have gift cards sitting around that you're thinking like,
If.
right.
Well, the average person
Everyone
has
does.
about
You had this number.
$200
Yes,
of
$200.
sitting in their wallet, their glove box.
The
Someone
coffee
said
cup in the
a
kitchen.
bathroom
Yes.
drawer in
Yeah.
the kitchen junk drawer.
Right, the coffee cup on your desk.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's where
Exactly.
mine
Yeah.
are. Yeah,
They're all in different places, and they're not necessarily all loaded up. There may be a
You used partial.
You use partial, right? And you're like, I don't know if I'll ever go there again. And besides, I have this to Nordstrom. I have $20 left, and what am I going to be able to buy at Nordstrom for $20? That's the perfect type of card that you can donate to your favorite charity. So again, we convert those to cash,
Yes.
and we give those to the charities. And so with all of the unused gift cards out there, it's just another mechanism. I think what it does in some is really Charity on Top is a platform of giving to other charity. Like however you can think of doing that. How do we support charities? How do we get more money to charity? Our goal, our mission, our philosophy, and we're fanatical about it, is how do we push more money to charity? Because we sat on the other side of charity.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
Yeah.
And it's getting harder, and there's more charities, and there's more demand, and there's less resources, and donors are getting fatigued, and there's only so many events you can do.
Fatigued.
And
I am
good
fatigued.
grief, we
You know?
all are. We're
Yeah.
just fatigued in general. And then we're like fatigued on top of charitable because we're so stretched.
Yeah.
So how do we facilitate maybe doing something that's out of the box? Maybe thinking of different ways that people can give. Look, trading in, unused balances on gift cards, that's not money coming out of your pocket.
Right.
Right? That's a way that you could give $200 to a charity without even having to do anything.
And let's realize this, that Nordstrom gift card is making Nordstrom money every second it sits there.
Oh, right. That's right.
That's exactly right.
That's
and that's
right.
not bad good for Nordstrom because the
Right.
money's
Good
got
on
to do
them.
something when it's
Sure.
sitting there.
No, but it
in
sure
your coffee
messes
cup.
up their books.
Yeah.
And they don't like it. They don't necessarily like it. And if you're not coming in, see, they're expecting you to come in, spend your $20, and then upspend another 40%.
Yeah.
So you're not going to do that. You're
Yeah.
sitting there with that card. That's just a
Right.
pain in the butt for them.
Yeah.
So give it to a charity that's like, hey, there's $20 I didn't have to go find. I know
Yeah.
it doesn't sound like a lot, but it
Yeah,
is.
it is.
It definitely is.
I mean, if there were literally 100 people every day going, here's $20 from I sold my duck at the market. I'm going to give this $20. And it just keeps showing up from all these different angles, all these
Yeah.
impossible things. 20 times 100 every day is a lot of money to
really,
a
it
charity,
adds-
especially
it
when they
adds up.
did nothing to earn it other than like
Right.
you happen to hear of it,
yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
It's an incredible thing to be able to be in this time. What about, is there the concept of acorn saving? Is there an acorn, and I mean, that's a brand.
Right.
But every time you go out, it just rounds up, and then that money goes into whatever. We have a thing Jerry and I do called Bumped, and it's like a loyalty program. So if I go to Chevron, if I go to McDonald's, different categories, you
Yep.
pick something. And every time you use that service, like if I go to McDonald's and I buy a McMuffin, a hash brown, and a coffee, I think I get 27 cents of McDonald's stock in my
Oh.
portfolio every time I do it.
Oh, that's
right?
cool.
And here's what I do to do that. Nothing.
Yeah,
I just go to
right.
McDonald's.
Right. You order your
have your-
breakfast.
Yeah, and I just,
Which
and
it
I
sounds like
I had to
you've
set
done
it up.
before.
I was going to say, not
Yeah.
to,
You had
not
your
to be
order,
too
like-
specific.
Yeah.
Ready to go?
Yeah, you pay for your order. Your credit card obviously is registered with the certain bump.
Yeah.
And then literally, and it's not a lot of money, right? I think, and I'm not a big consumer, so my account maybe has $15 of stock, but it's Chevron stock, Starbucks
Yeah.
stock, McDonald's stock, and so that grows over time into something.
Interesting.
So there's definitely a charitable part where you could just say, every time I spend, round up 25 cents and then throw it into my charity on top bucket. Or
Yeah.
maybe it's directed to something I pre-pick,
Right.
and then they get micro gifts all the time.
Right.
Okay, we're on it.
All righty. I'm your biz dev guy, except for
you are.
Okay, develop it out. We'll
But
fire
it
it
is,
up. Yeah.
but it is all things charity, and I think also what you're doing is you're showing that you can do little things every day.
Yeah.
To contribute. Time is amazing when people can give time, But the truth is that charities need the financial support as well.
Yeah.
So those little things here and there that are not, you're not going to necessarily, if you don't have a lot, you're not going to necessarily miss a whole bunch. But it does have a huge impact on the charities that you're choosing. And there's lots of ways to be charitable around us. I think we've seen that too.
Yeah.
Lots of companies are really standing up and saying that, they're putting together corporate social responsibility programs, and that they're doing sort of a buy one, give one. And, it's a lot more out in the open. Well, it's a lot more visible. And I think that the employees are demanding it, consumers are demanding it. And so it does kind of go back into, not only do we need our own personal charitable missions, and Charity on Top certainly has its, but these companies need theirs as well. And they're leading the path. And so I feel like we all are kind of going forward in this forward momentum together, which is really exciting. And we're just trying to bring new things and new ways of thinking and new ways of giving to sort of not only keep people interested, but keep up with, the changes that are going on. Because I don't know that everything that we were doing is really still working.
Well, we definitely are better at defining and exchanging value. And that's like when software becomes money, which it has,
Right.
You're able to say, this is valuable, this is valuable, this is valuable, and it can go to these areas and do a lot of self-accounting. Almost in our lifetime, you will not need an accountant. Like it all could be done by a robot.
Right.
And so
Blockchain.
Digitally.
yeah, blockchain for sure, right? It's all accounted for.
Right.
It's true.
Right.
And
we
you
love
literally
the
could-
accountability.
Yes,
that
we
comes with
absolutely
blockchain.
do.
Yeah.
And charities are incorporating that concept, the
Yeah.
transparency, accountability concept, which I think is amazing. If I give money and I know it's going to buy a bag of rice,
Yeah.
I want to see that bag of rice getting to the people it's supposed to get to.
Yeah.
And I hate to believe that it's gotten lost with government red tape and, who knows where it ends up and all that kind of stuff. I want to know it got where it's supposed to go, because that's why I gave it, right? And so organizations are incorporating that, and we're huge fans of that.
It's funny. Someone said, well, why don't you get a grant? And I'm like, oh, get a grant.
Oh, just get a grant.
Yeah, go get a grant. I'll go to the grant store.
You know what,
Oh.
Pete, this afternoon, because you have nothing else to do, go to the grant store, grab a couple grants,
For free.
and do some cool
Pluck 'em out.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fire it up.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, it is not that easy.
It's not.
It
And
is
it's
not
getting
that
harder
easy.
How
and
many
harder.
hours it takes to write a common grant? I know that's a really
Well,
hard
it's
question.
simple.
most foundations want you to start out with a letter of inquiry first. Thankfully, they've adopted a letter of inquiry. So you're really writing an intro letter. That has good and bad.
Yeah.
There's positive and negative benefits to that. But the positive is you're not spending a whole bunch of time. But the negative is you got one piece of paper to make an impression enough for them to allow you then to submit for more.
Yeah.
And that then can take weeks. It
Right.
depends on the size of the grant and what they're doing. There's no universal grant application. So it means that you're doing everything custom with no guarantees you're going to get anything. It's not even a 50-50 chance
not
whether
even.
you're going to get it or not. And the majority of the time, what we're finding even in foundations is foundations want impact. And they are also wanting results, just like we do as individuals.
Yeah.
We want results. We want to see what you've been doing with our money this whole time. And the foundations have that same thing that's happening with them, where they have to find purpose and ROI. And so rather than giving, let's say they have $1 million to give every year, which, wow, they could do quite a bit with. But if they're giving a little bit here and a little bit here and a little bit here, and they're supporting your gala and your golf tournament and your fundraisers and, giving to here and here and here and here, there's really no demonstrable impact that they can really find.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're honing in on areas, and they're saying, we want to take that $1 million and split it up into 3 different ways. And so nonprofits are getting larger pieces, but there's fewer of them that are getting them.
Sure.
And they may or may not be getting multiple year gifts, which ties up money moving forward. So foundations are not what they used to be. And that also then has an effect on nonprofits that are doing the golf tournaments and doing the fundraisers and the galas. They're not getting the support for their tables.
Yeah.
Those $5,000 and $10,000 or $25,000 gifts were huge for them. They're not getting those anymore.
Yeah.
Foundations don't want to support support that anymore. There's no ROI on that.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And my second soapbox is that, there's large foundations, and there's, a couple that I will not name, that people open up these big foundations or accounts in these big foundations, and they shove all their money into it, and then they only have to give away 5% every year. So there are like millions and millions and millions, and I wish I had my stats in front of me, of money that just sits. It's earmarked for charity. They got the deduction for charity. They're not using it for charity.
It just becomes a bad return rate account, like where they still are making money.
Oh,
it
yeah, no,
grows.
they
Oh, yeah,
basically
they're making
spend
nice
the interest.
money.
On a good year, they're basically spending interest, which is great because it's got legacy.
Yeah.
But the problem is that it's not addressing the issues of today. So what I love is that there's new philanthropists that are coming out that are saying, you know what, I'm Warren Buffett gave his son money to start a program, and he said, I'm only funding this for 5 years because in 5 years you better be done.
Yeah.
You better have accomplished what you set out to accomplish. And we're seeing that more and more. And I think that that's really interesting. It's like, let's solve a problem, and let's give ourselves a time frame to get it done.
I want to talk real quick too about capacity as opposed to money, because everybody can say, I don't have any money, and so let's believe them. But if 10 people show up and say, hey, I'd like to help charity on top, you're all going to say, okay, what can you do? How many of those 10 can you put to work?
10.
But we don't have that perception, right? We believe like, they don't need my
What
help,
would I have to offer?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
get that
kind of
all the
thing.
time.
Oh, all
Like,
the time.
what would I do? I don't even know what I would do.
But there's something to do at every charity.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking of things just within Charity on Top.
Yeah.
They're just simple things that need to happen.
Yeah.
Stamps need to go onto envelopes because gift cards need to go into the mail.
Right.
Anybody could do that, all the way up to, somebody developed our crypto software.
Right.
Yeah. So it's from the very simple and tasky, mundane kind of stuff that anybody could do to highly, highly sophisticated, specific,
Right.
and everything in between.
Save the Brave is my home charity. That's
Yeah.
where I put a lot of my effort. And we have a CFO now because some guy's like, I'll do that.
Yeah.
And it's not his main job, but
Right.
he gives an amount of time each month to do
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
We have a CFO.
That's
like,
awesome.
I know. And that's how it starts.
Yeah.
And it's volunteers and people saying, I want to volunteer.
Yeah.
And I want to help. And the one thing about there's multiple things about nonprofits, but nonprofits are super creative and really flexible and very crafty in a good way.
Resourceful.
Yeah. Of finding
Crafty.
someone's
Crafty's
talent.
a good word.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because you're like, I'm really good at, doing something specific. Like, I keep books every now and again, and you're like, wow, that would be really helpful.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Don't take it upon yourself to define what you can do for
don't
the
discount
nonprofit.
yourself.
Don't
Yeah.
discount
Or
yourself.
your talent or
Let
your
the
interest.
organization talk to them about you and let them help you find the fit.
Yeah.
Because they know what they need. You're trying to guess what they need from the outside without even knowing it. Don't do that to yourself before you get in. The nonprofits are crafty and they're going to go, you know what we need? And if they're good, they're going to know exactly where to put you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, just the willingness to drive from here to there is all.
Yeah.
You can now stay on task and like, can you run this 45-minute
That's
task each direction?
Right.
Like.
Oh my gosh, we need that.
Oh, yeah. Are you able to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chuber. Charity Uber.
Sugar!
I like that.
I
All
like
right.
that. I do. I
That's
like
terrific.
that. Yeah. One of the charities that's local here, Union Station Homeless Services, is super good. I'm on their mailing list because we've done some volunteer work there as a family before. But they do a great job. And they're like, we're looking for people to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches tomorrow, 40 of them. We need someone to come over. We just got the email. We need someone to come over and decorate a room for December birthdays. We need someone else to package up meals and someone else to go through Christmas toys, that are left over now and that they need to figure out what to do with and stuff like that. But they're really good at they're just little things. So if you're sitting there going, what would they need me to do? They're telling you what they need. And if you can fit in, then that's great. But
when my
wouldn't know
daughter
that.
was, I think, 10, she organized their pantry after their big Thanksgiving meal in the park.
Yeah.
They do dinner in the park, right, for, I don't know,
Oh,
many thousands
Yeah,
of people.
thousands,
It's crazy.
right.
It's super rewarding to do that. But after that,
Yeah.
she like everything has to go back in the pantry,
aftermath.
and it was crazy. And she loves doing that. And so she put everything back and got it all organized, and it was
Yeah.
so gratifying for her, and they loved it. And then for the year, all their stuff was organized.
Yeah.
Something that she could contribute in the moment.
And I mean, it's extremely valuable.
Yeah.
And because if she doesn't do it, all of a sudden the CEO of the organization is doing
it
it.
has
right?
to be
Like,
done.
That's exactly
Yeah, it
the
has to be
director
done. It
or
has to
somebody
be
at a
done.
higher level.
Do you know
is
after
figuring
events
stuff out.
we just throw everything into the van? We're so exhausted, and
Yeah.
we're
And
like,
then we
we'll
just-
just deal with this next
Yeah.
week. And sometimes that stuff will sit there for a really long
Till the
time.
next year.
Because you know what, the program is still running, and everything that you didn't do has to start being done. I mean, they've got people to take care of, and
Yeah.
so had Kathy's daughter said to herself, "Well, what can I really do? What is there really going to be to do?"
Yeah.
But again, the nonprofit was able to say, "Hey, we need people who are highly organized that want to come in and do something, to do. Oh, that's right up my alley. That
Yeah.
sounds great." So there's all kinds
So many
of
ways.
things. Yeah, we put ourselves in boxes, and we
Yeah, we
shouldn't be
do.
doing that when it comes to volunteerism.
This tuber idea, I mean, you just think about this. When you do events, right? You want to make it as easy on the celebrity type person or whoever it is that needs to get to the event as possible. And if you're like, hey, Jennifer's going to come pick you up.
Yeah.
And she's
Right.
going to take care of everything you need and get you to the event, and she will take you home.
Right.
Oh, my God.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
That would be.
I did that.
would be
I
a
actually
gift.
got to go pick up George Winston
Yeah.
from the hotel and take him to Huntington Hospital here in Pasadena, where he played for a bunch of the patients in the
Yeah.
rehab. I wouldn't have known who George Winston was, but my mom was a big fan.
Right.
So we had a great conversation on the way there and back. But it was a volunteer effort. It didn't cost the hospital anything. They didn't have to call a car service, which gets expensive, and deal
Which
with
they
it.
absolutely would have to
Oh,
do
yeah.
normally.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You
And I
know?
was in my little volunteer outfit. And so we got to talk a lot about the hospital
Yeah.
and a lot about the volunteer program. And
cool.
so I think you're right. Throwing on that charity shirt and running those errands and being out there. If Kathy and I are walking together and we both have a shirt on, it only takes two and maybe even one sometimes
Yeah.
to spark a conversation
Yeah.
about what you do. And it's amazing how many people are really looking for something. And dare I say, what I found is people in their 40s. I've found people in their 40s coming into their 40s, I think, start to have an appreciation for what they have. They start realizing they've dodged a lot of bullets, either with themselves, with their jobs, with their families, certainly with their kids, with diseases, whatever it may be, and they've got life experience now, and there's gratitude there. And they're looking for places to volunteer, boards to serve on, feeling like I got to give back in some way. I don't know. And their eyes are open.
Yeah.
They're waiting for something to happen. And so we've done events, we've done things where people are going, I've been looking for something. And I love being with you guys. I love the friendship here. I want to have a group of friends I can volunteer with and do stuff with. So, get out and be a part of what's going on in these nonprofits, because people really are looking for things. So, it's just,
There's lots to do.
there's lots to do.
Lots.
Again, all
we'll help you
things
find it.
charity.
If you don't know where to go, call me. I will. I'll find a charity in your area.
They're not joking.
No, I love doing this, actually.
Inquire at charityontop.org.
Yeah.
Email
Yeah,
us.
email
Kathy
us.
loves this. And,
Yeah.
and I'm very
Love
resourceful,
connections.
and
It's
we
fun
can make
making
connections
matches.
for people.
Yeah.
And
we love doing
finding
You help
something
people
that
organize their
meaningful.
charities all the time, too. Like, you're always talking to
Oh,
somebody.
we do.
like,
We help with
best
a lot of
practices, all
startups,
that.
and
Yeah.
and
Yeah, we've
or
incubated several charities.
and somebody that says, I know what I want to start. I'm just
Yeah.
not sure how to go about that.
Right.
And it isn't easy. It's not hard. You just have to know how to do it, I guess.
Yeah.
And we've done many. We've started our own
Yeah.
quite a few times and helped others. And so Marchelle's especially good at that and kind of helping them to define their mission and set up their board, and then jump through all the hoops that you have to jump through with whatever state you're in, and then with the
But they're
federal
jumpable.
government. They're jumpable.
Especially if you can point them out. Jump through
Look,
this. Jump through that.
1.8 million of us have done it. 1.8 million charities in the United States. Just
Right.
in the United States, we've all done it.
Yeah.
Right? And we're all hanging in there.
We are.
And some come and go, but
Yeah.
it is there. The hoops are jumpable. And so, if you're interested in doing that and you have a great idea and you have some means to do it in some way, we'll help you incubate that and put
And I
that
suppose
together
we-
if you need it.
We should also say, too, there are a lot of charities that already do that, whatever that is. it's also not bad to bring your fresh energy into the thing you're already passionate about.
Yeah, collaborate
And
with
they've already
someone.
done the hoop jumping.
That's right. Collaborate with someone who's doing it,
Yeah.
and maybe they're ready for your fresh idea.
They are.
And your manpower.
They are.
And yeah, they are.
They are.
Almost always.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Yeah.
they really are. Yeah, and we've helped companies really look at their social giving and decide whether or not they're making genuine choices,
Mm-hmm.
and does that is what they're doing and giving make a difference, and what makes sense to them. We just had Unilever as one of the sponsors of the big sleep out, and they do right to shower.
Yeah.
Right, and they are talking about how everyone has the right to be clean and to feel clean and to be free from disease and be dignified with a shower. And when you think about Unilever and what they're doing with just the products that we know, certainly not
Sure.
everything that they market, but just
So
when we
many
think about
things.
their soap products, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What they're doing makes sense and what they should be doing. Avery Dennison does reforestation and they do work in the Amazon. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Milkbone does things with pet charities. It's like, how do we help those nonprofits make sense?
Yep.
And we're super excited, and I think it would be great to do a plug that we also helped do a love match and a love connection between Route 21, which is in 700 stores, retail stores, their youth apparel,
Okay.
and they adopted the Humane Society of the USA,
I love it.
and they're
Isn't that
doing
great?
special gift cards with all of these adorable pictures of cats and dogs on them for their gift cards this year, and they're making a $25,000 contribution to Humane Society USA, and Charity on Top was really proud to help with those discussions. So it's kind of all things charity, and
Yeah.
it comes from all sides and all angles, and so we're always open to different conversations, and we certainly are good. We believe we're good resources, and if we don't have the answers, we're going to go find them.
You are.
Thank
you
you.
are. Let's not even. It's always wonderful to talk to you too, because you are so just packed full of energy, and you're not thinking like let's just plug Charity on Top. Like, no, you're like, everybody is in this thing together.
Yeah,
you know?
we are.
There's
We're in it
help in
together.
every direction.
Yeah.
Let's just
Charity
get
on
it
Top
going.
is the vehicle.
Yeah.
It's not the mission. It's the mechanism.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
the conduit.
Yeah.
Right.
We hope we're the platform
Yeah.
for
So it's-
all things charity and gift cards as well.
It's January. We've all got our New Year's resolutions, or at least we've done something. It's time of change, and so I'm encouraging all of you to look. First off, I'll say SaveTheBrave.org. Go to the
Yes.
donate tab and just subscribe monthly. $15. There, you've done it for the whole year,
Wow,
right?
that's terrific.
Every month, you just boom, boom, boom. It just comes out, and $15. Who's even going to miss it? So if not that, also like Charity on Top. Like, you want to give someone something, don't even think about it. Like, I can't decide what to get you. As soon as you hear yourself think that,
What should I bring? What should I give?
That's right.
Yeah, Charity on Top gift card. We have lots of different designs.
Yeah.
Or you can send in your own design. My cousin had his 50th birthday, and I'm thinking, what am I going to get him?
yeah.
Like you said, obviously, Charity on Top gift card. So I found a photo of he and I when we were little kids from the 70s. It's super dorky and super cute. And that's on his gift card for his 50th birthday,
I mean, it's
Personal,
like
meaningful.
you can't miss, and he got to give $50 to the charity that he chose, and I would not have guessed the charity that he chose.
Right.
Like, I didn't know it was on his radar at all.
because there's charity for everything.
Yeah,
Water,
exactly.
That's right.
Because it was
ocean,
something.
land,
it was something
critters,
recent.
Yeah,
everything,
critters, yeah.
conservation, preservation,
Yeah.
ancient stuff, new stuff. Everything has a charity. So don't decide for them.
Yeah.
I never know what to get that person. Now you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be meaningful to them, and they're going to think highly of you because
Yeah.
you believed that they were charitable and you were charitable first.
I like it.
So
They're
you
gonna
can't lose.
remember that.
Yeah.
They're going to remember that for a long time.
Yeah, it's a meaningful gift. It's a memorable gift. Yeah.
Anything else?
We'll
Charity
talk
on-
about this all day.
CharityOnTop.org.
CharityOnTop.org.
Come pay us a visit.
Yeah.